Sitting on 450 wins. He can pull that off today. Guided Villanova to the school's first #1 seed in the NCAA tournament since 2006 last season. And two of the top programs in the country. This, in fact, a clash of the defending regular season conference champions in the ACC and the Big East. Virginia, the defending back-to-back ACC champion, and the Wildcats trying to make it 3 in a row. And we are underway as Villanova wins the opening tip here at Charlottesville.
Well, Virginia in their man-to-man, their packed line defense. They try to pack everything inside. They will double the post.
Jenkins knocks down that three-pointer, and that's huge for Villanova because it's such a big part of their attack, Jay.
Well, Villanova shoots half their shots from three-point range. They've only hit about 30% of them on the season, but they're a much better shooting team, in my opinion, than they have shown. They went 4 of 32 from 3 against Oklahoma.
Wilkins bouncing underneath, a nicely run play there for Brogdon. Wilkins getting his first start in his 38th game, so big day for him.
And I think you're going to see Malcolm Brogdon spend some time down in the post. He's such a good cutter. And with the offense that Virginia runs, they call it sides. They have sides of the floor where they'll run fade screens on one side, baseline screens on the other. And they're very difficult to contain.
Hart swings into the corner. Arcidiacono, the 6'3" senior, he really runs the show. In some trouble, flings it into the corner and tossed into the backcourt. A collision, and it's going to be over and back, so it's a turnover here. That was with 2 on the shot clock.
Malcolm Brogdon, you can see coming off a little fade screen. He just comes right off of it and underneath, and he's got single coverage with Josh Hart, and he's able to just get the ball into the post and make an easy basket for anyone, any guard on this Villanova team. When they get switched off onto Malcolm Brogdon, Hart is guarding him right now, but that's a difficult cover for any guard on this team. I think you're going to see Brogdon bully them.
Gill trying to get free, but can't. Parentis runs the point at 6'2", and shooting 54% beyond the three-point line as well.
Well, that's just good offense. Anthony Gill got the ball, didn't really have a move against Daniel Achefu, who's an excellent defender. Kicked it back out, reposted, and then went right to that left hand. He is such an efficient player. We've got 2 players on this Virginia team, Malcolm Brogdon and Anthony Gill, are in the top 7 in the country in efficiency.
Jenkins again barely nicking the iron with that attempt, however.
Well, Jenkins shoots the most threes on this team. That's 65 attempts he's had on the season.
Yeah, but he's only made 28% coming into the game. It's been a real issue. Parentis into the corner.
Part of that, Dave, I think is the shots that they're taking. These guys are good shooters, but they're not taking open ones.
Oh, how about that move by Thompson to elevate the 6'4" guard to slam that one down.
And that's going to drive Jay Wright crazy. There's nobody there for weak side help to get over and contest that shot. That's way too easy.
Brunson, a talented freshman. He comes in averaging about 11 points a game. A very good passer as well. Thought about a 3 there. Swings it up top for Hart.
The help side defense, excellent for Virginia. They're in every gap.
Stolen away. Here's Parentis. He's going to wait for some help. He kicks it now, and it rolls out of play. It'll go back over to Villanova.
Well, Darius Thompson, the transfer from Tennessee, gets the ball in the corner after the quick reversal. And the closeout was coming more from the free throw line, which is a really tough angle for Jalen Brunson, but there was nobody that rotated back. You have to move on the flight of the ball to get back in good help side position. Villanova didn't do it there.
Off the fake, Jenkins. Shot clock down to 12. Long range. Brunson will knock it down.
And that's what you're going to have to do against Virginia, Dave. You got to knock down open shots. That was an excellent reversal. But there's so few opportunities to get really good penetration because of the help and where it's positioned for Virginia.
Brogdon, the top scorer, a little one-hander. Rebounded by Wilkins and stripped, taken away by Brunson.
Well, Gill did such a great job to keep that ball alive going over Jenkins, and Jenkins was able to knock it away. Otherwise, that was another layup for Virginia.
Jenkins trying to operate. Here's Hart trying to penetrate. Little bump there, and it'll be an offensive foul. That'll go against Villanova.
Wow, I don't like that call. I don't think that Parentis had the angle there. I thought that Josh Hart was getting past him, and he was just being strong with the ball. I know the officials are putting more of an emphasis on making sure that the offense doesn't create that contact. But once you're past your defender, you got the right to go anywhere you want. And I thought he was past Fuentes.
Villanova will open Big East play as the defending league champions on New Year's Eve against an outstanding Xavier team. I know you're dying to get a look at Xavier firsthand.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in person yet, but I think Xavier's one of the top 5 or 6 teams in the country. They've got 6 guys averaging in double figures. They're an excellent rebounding team. Yeah, out-rebound their opponents by over 13. That's 6th in the country. And I think Chris Mack has a legitimate Final Four team.
Shot clock down to 2. They find Thompson for the stuff. What a bailout there on the baseline with a shot clock winding down.
Shot clock was near 0. And Malcolm Brogdon was able to get out of a double team and find Darius Thompson for the dunk. That's way too easy.
Timeout, 8-6, Virginia.
ESPN's exclusive present.
Ton of company up there. Providence is a really good team. You think Butler is one of the top scoring teams in the country. But you've got 4 teams in the top 25. I think there are more like 6 that you'd find in the top 50 or so. We've talked about Xavier, the outstanding rebounding team, having 6 players that average in double figures. Then Chris Dunn of Providence. I think he's the best point guard in the country, and he's been proving it game in, game out. He's fought a little bit of injury thus far, but an excellent player. But right now, it has been all in the paint for Virginia. They've got 8 points that have been right at the basket. And for Villanova, they've had to get everything basically on the perimeter because of how tight it is inside.
6 to shoot. Jenkins lets fly, and another one that barely made it to the iron. The foul here will go against Ochefu, the 6'11 senior.
Well, that was a contested jump shot that Villanova had to just basically settle for. And you hear coaches say that a lot. We can't settle. You have to get the shot that you want. But getting the shot you want against Virginia is very, very difficult. This is one of the best defensive teams in the country.
Holding opponents to 57 points a game. Nothing new there. That's top 6 nationally. And committing less than 9 turnovers a game.
And that's basically Villanova as well. They're about 57 and about just under 10 turnovers. Both these teams very low turnovers.
How about that pass from Wilkins and the stuff by Gill? But Wilkins is the guy who made that play.
Well, and Villanova is going to have to get on the glass. This is not a great rebounding team. They're about even with their opponents on the season. And Virginia, a very good rebounding team, and they've had their way with Villanova on the glass so far.
Banked up and in by Ochefu on the feed from the senior guard. And that is going to be a big, big presence underneath there. He's a cornerstone for Villanova.
Villanova has been putting a little 3/4 court pressure on, trying to slow the advance, make it a little more difficult, give different looks.
Speaking of looks, Wilkins got a real clean look, and he knocked it down. He likes the idea of getting in the starting lineup for the first time.
Well, he's the son of Dominique Wilkins, and Isaiah Wilkins is a good athlete. He's long. They can put him in at the 4 spot, let Anthony Gill play the 5, and they're a better matchup right now for Villanova. You can't really go big against Villanova because they can put 5 small guys out there and really spread you out a little bit.
They will feed it here to Booth now into the corner. The jumper on the way and knocked in from 3-point land, and a good clean look by Josh Hart, who only hits about 34%.
That was because of the ball reversal. He got it on one side of the floor, reversed it to the other, and Hart was ready to shoot. I mean, you can't catch and hold the ball against Virginia. If you're not ready to shoot, pass, or drive, as soon as you catch it, Virginia's going to be able to recover, and you're not going to have any openings.
Brogdon gives it up. He's averaging 17 a game. Parentis, real hard drive and knocked out of bounds by Villanova. And yes, bowl season is upon us. We kick it off today. 3 games. Starts at 2 o'clock Eastern with the Gildan New Mexico Bowl at 5:30. The Raycom Media Camellia Bowl. And then finishing up at 9 tonight, the R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl. It is bowl season getting underway. Brogdon trying to get free in the corner. Hall up top will swing it.
And Brogdon gets out of traps so cleanly.
Booth with the theft. He'll take it one-on-one. And a strong move for 2.
And Phil Booth is a very talented player. He's basically a starter that Jay Wright and his staff have asked to come off the bench, and he has handled it very well. There's not a lot of teams that he couldn't start for. He's an excellent talent.
Brogdon trying to get into the mix, and that's going to be an offensive. Back to Booth and a theft.
Well, you don't see many times when London Parentis is going to throw the ball cross court and get it picked off. Parentis, a junior from Los Angeles, went to Crespi High School. Very low error rate. He's 4-to-1 basically assist turnover, and that's been the way he's been ever since he's gotten to Virginia. Hardly ever coughs that thing up, so it's unusual. You'd see basically a pick six from him where it goes the other way for a touchdown.
Mikal Bridges, a 6'7" freshman, now into the game for Jay Wright. Brunson bouncing here for Jenkins. Bridges gets a touch.
Got away with a walk there too.
And a foul. So they'll get Gill for that personal, the 6'8" senior. He picks up number 1.
Boy, Villanova has given up so many layups, and yet they're leading in this game. And it shows the value of knocking down a few of those three-point shots. That means that Virginia may wind up having to extend. That could open up some driving lanes, which haven't been there thus far.
Bridges with a look. Big battle for the rebound. Toby fighting for it underneath, and a foul with 12:33 to go here in the half, and they're going to get the Cavaliers for this personal. That'll go against Toby.
Boy, that looked like a jump ball the whole way. It looked
did.
like both players had that. I mean, I don't know how that's not a jump ball. That's a tough one.
Toby, the 7-footer, the senior, who started as a sophomore, but off the bench last year, he was voted the ACC 6th man of the year.
Well, this is a difficult game for Mike Toby because he's going to have to guard out on the perimeter, and he's more of an interior defender.
Jenkins, the junior, had a career best 18 points against St. Joseph's, and makes it a 2-point game, 14-12 Villanova.
Well, Villanova went 4 of 32 from 3 against Oklahoma, and the Sooners are the real deal. I mean, a lot of teams are going to lose to Oklahoma, but they shot it so poorly in large measure because Villanova didn't share the ball, pass it, and reverse it. But they certainly reversed that trend against LaSalle.
All with the 3, off target. Rebound picked off, however, and a strong move in close there by Reuter, the 6'7" freshman.
A guy with a big body, both he and Jack Salt, they come into the game, and they are not afraid to bang those bodies around and get position. And that's really an area where Villanova's got to improve, is on the glass. They've got to be able to control their defensive glass and not give up second shots.
Parentis thought about the penetration. He'll call out a play now. Kid from Los Angeles who turns it over less than 1 time per game.
He's already had his 1.
Yeah, Brogdon high off the window, but it won't fall. Parentis with a nice maneuver there, and will fire it up and miss it.
We hardly ever see him miss. He's such a good shooter. And Tony Bennett wants to see him be more assertive as an offensive player. He's shooting almost 50% from 3.
As a team, 51% for the Cavaliers. Very good shooting team.
Well, they get such good shots. I mean, they basically grind you down. Nice pass.
Bridges will finish that one in style with the dunk.
Boy, what a cut by Bridges. Oftentimes, you don't see Virginia get back cut because they'll make you run through their chest.
They'll get Bridges for the foul. Jay Wright loved that maneuver. And when we come back, Jay Billis goes.
The first question.
Think of it.
You only got 60 feet left.
I was thinking Modern Family.
Let's start over.
Let's start over.
Well, anytime, Barbara Walters, Morley Safer, me.
Yes, same class.
Very similar.
Arcidiacono going all the way to lay that one up and in off the thefts.
Well, you see Virginia turn the ball over a couple times, and not just turnovers, but live ball turnovers that Villanova's been able to take the other way. Really, there's only been 3 times that they could get to the rim. Only one of those have been in a half-court 5-on-5 situation. So those turnovers are hurtful for Virginia.
Reuter trying to lean in, swatted back into the corner to Parentis.
But Bridges did a nice job helping out Achefu there.
And with the shot clock winding down inside 5 seconds, is Brunson.
One thing both these teams can do, they can both defend. Great pass. Ooh. Got to catch that.
Now Bridges could not handle it off of his fingertips. 18-14 Villanova.
One of the tests you have in a game like this, and we're saying tests right after exam periods, it might make the players a little bit shaky. But one of the tests that you have in a game like this is keeping your patience, because you don't get the kind of rhythm you would get in a normal game playing against Virginia because they're so good defensively.
Gill wide open, followed his own miss, and knocks it in.
And Villanova is putting some three-quarter court pressure on, and now Virginia looking to beat it to score. Earlier in the game, they were looking to beat it to get it across half court and run offense. I think they're seeing they can get some open opportunities. Good reversal.
Arcidiacono will leave that one short, however, and it's tipped back to Nolte.
Anytime there's a reversal and you can get a shot fake, that's where you can get a drive. You know, shot fake against the closeout, and you're going to get that defender oftentimes to lift up.
On the penetration, a foul as Thompson tried to get inside. He's been on top of that iron with a couple of thunderous dunks early here.
Looks like they got Josh Hart on the foul. Little arm bar on Thompson. Thompson is an unbelievable athlete. He had a dunk earlier this year against William and Mary that I think will make any highlight reel all season long.
Foul number 2 on Hart, and Coach Wright is not happy. Brogdon. Here's Hall. And Brunson sticking right to him. This is a game, Jay, that's probably going to move right along. I mean, you blink and it's going to be over.
Yeah, it's not going to be a 2-hour game. You can pretty much convince us. Neither one of these teams get to the free throw line a lot, and they don't foul a lot.
Hall picks up the foul for Virginia. You can see Villanova is yet to attempt a free throw.
You know what, Dave, it's funny when you talk about teams that play really aggressive defense, they want to force turnovers, but one of the things that they do if you're really aggressive defensively is you foul a lot, and then you start putting teams on the free throw line and they get to score with no defense. And the teams like Virginia, last year Wisconsin, that don't foul much, they don't put their opponents on the free throw lines, they give the opponent a chance to miss a contested shot, and then they rebound it.
A great recovery there by Ochefu. Remember, he had the deck there to dig that one out and turns that one into a basket to make it 20-16.
Broken plays have been effective for Villanova. They've scored off a few of them. Virginia's first shot defense has been excellent when they have given some other opportunities. When they've turned it over, you cannot defend a turnover, and you certainly can't defend an offensive rebound.
Brogdon to the lane. Here's Thompson with a 3, and he knocks that one down. He's been hitting 39% out there.
Excellent penetration by Malcolm Brogdon. Brogdon's 23 years old. I think Brogdon could play. He's one of those guys that could play any sport. Never forces anything. He's a legit All-American.
A whistle stops the clock at 7:51 to go here in the first half. Thompson starting to light it up here. Brogdon averaging 17 a game for Virginia.
Over 50%. They're right at 57%, 8 of 14. They've made 3 of 7 from three-point range. But the turnovers and a couple of the backdoor cuts, the broken plays, when Virginia's not finished a defensive possession, that's really been the difference in a very close game.
Shayok picked up the foul right before the break, and here's another one before they can even inbound the ball. It's 7:51 remaining. That'll go against Thompson of the Cavaliers. And for Ochefu.
Ryan Arcidiacono, one of the outstanding senior guards, really shooting a great percentage on the season and a really high basketball IQ.
Bridges too good a fake, as it turns out, but he's traveling with it.
Bridges is a good-looking player. Long arms, athletic, does a good job when he's out there. That's a little bit of a different dimension. He can point that press out top.
Well, these have been such premier programs, Jay, over the last several years. Virginia 68-12 the last 3 seasons. Villanova is 70-9.
Both of them regular season have been outstanding. A little 2-3 zone there by Villanova, and they got the ball in the middle to Isaiah Wilkins, who was able to knock that down. But both teams have had extraordinary regular season success, and the shine gets taken off it because they wind up losing earlier than expected in the NCAA tournament. You know, last year Villanova got beat by NC State, and you saw Virginia lose for the 2nd year in a row to Michigan State. Now, if Justin Anderson had been healthy all year long, I liked Virginia as a Final Four team last year. I don't think there's any team this year, Dave, that's as good as Virginia was before Anderson got hurt last year.
Not one, huh?
Not one. That's how good I think they were. But there were a number of teams you could say I think would be number 1 right now from last year's field, like Wisconsin and Duke or Kentucky. This is a different year. So I think both these teams have to feel like if they stay healthy, they continue to improve, and they're playing well at the end of the season, they've got a legit chance to play for the whole thing.
Well, when both of these teams went into March Madness last year, you had the feeling they could win a national championship. They were gone quickly. Of course, Kentucky had such an amazing year. There's Shayok on target to knock down a 2.
Well, when you can bring Mariel Shayok into the game and he can knock down a pull-up jumper off the dribble, That's big time.
That gets the crowd up here in Charlottesville.
And Dave, this is where you have to answer when you're on the road. Now, Villanova has played well. They played well to get the lead. But they need to answer now after they've been punched.
Shot clock's down to 5. Bridges. Jenkins has to get it in the air. Did he get it in time? He nails it, but it's a shot clock violation. He did not get it off in time. We've seen that before from Virginia. That kind of defense.
Well, Virginia comes out of the timeout. They execute on the offensive end, and they get a great defensive stop. They play 30 seconds of outstanding defense. This crowd is into it now. Usually last 5 minutes of the first half. Virginia's not gotten off to great starts all year long. It's got to be an offensive foul.
Barreling in, and it will not be an offensive foul.
He might have been inside of the restricted arc. But the defense by Virginia, excellent help on gaps, closing that gap down and then helping the helper. Darius Thompson helps down from up top to take that shot away.
Archie Diacono with the blocking foul. And that'll put Brogdon at the line where he hits 79%.
When Brogdon took that drive, that's one of the things I think any coach would like to see his best player do, and that's drive the ball more, because how many guys are going to step in the way of Malcolm Brogdon? He's so strong. And he may not be the quickest guy out there, but he's quick enough to get past you, and when he does, he is strong enough you are not going to knock him off his path.
Now the Cavaliers opening up a bit of a lead here. Over the top, Ochefu tried to get it out, and it was knocked out of play by Virginia.
It was just a screen and roll, and then there's a roll replace action. So as Ochefu rolls to the basket, Chris Jenkins, who just left the game, rolls up top. And that's really difficult to defend. If you pay attention to the three-point shooter, Ochefu's got a chance underneath.
Gill ripped that one away. Tried to get it to him on the low block. Here's Parentis to set up a play now for the Cavaliers. They are 4-2 all-time against Villanova, though they have not met since 2004. Brogdon drawing a lot of attention every time he touches it.
We had a mismatch with Archie Diacono and didn't take advantage of it.
Thompson with a bounce speed, and that's knocked away. It'll go the other way.
See, Brogdon's got to take that. Yeah, he had a point guard on him down in the post, one-on-one in the post. Now, if he dribbled it, does he draw a double team? Maybe, but he can handle that. He's got to bully that assignment when he gets that kind of mismatch.
Number 2 on Thompson, his second foul. And he has 7 points. He's been a go-to man here in the first half for Virginia.
Well, Virginia went the first 13, 14 minutes where I think Tony Bennett would say, we didn't play our best. And now they've got the lead. But this is a big 4.5 minute stretch for both teams. Does Villanova fight back? Is Virginia able to stretch this lead out?
Parentis and Brunson going toe-to-toe. They'll get Virginia for the foul, and Parentis picks up his first.
That's where Brunson can be really good. He's a power guard, even though he's just a freshman. He loves contact. So he's one of those players that can get to the free throw line, and Villanova does not have a lot of guys that naturally get there. He can naturally get to the free throw line.
And they like it when he does. He's 82%, but too strong with that one. The rebound tipped out, and the foul will go against Villanova underneath. So a flurry of whistles here. Although play is starting to be cleaned up, Jay, the time of games is down a little bit. Scoring is up a little bit, although these are actually seismic changes in college basketball.
Well, yeah, it's what the NBA did years ago, the Freedom of Movement initiative that David Stern put through in the NBA that really improved that game. I mean, it's happened basically in every game. And I think college basketball got away from, the administration of the game got away from us. And you had guys using their hands, grabbing, impeding cutters, impeding drivers. And now they're enforcing having to play with your feet, and I think it's making the game better. And it's increased scoring, but it has not increased free throws to a large degree. Scoring is up 6 points a game overall, which is gigantic, really.
Yes, it really is.
And less than 20% of that increase in scoring is attributable to free throws.
Parentis airborne. Oh, what a tough angle to bank that one in.
He is such a tough player. Anytime you talk about the best point guards in the country, London Parentis needs to be in that group.
Virginia has made 5 consecutive shots.
gotten 7 offensive rebounds in this first half. And you haven't seen Villanova grab many rebounds at all until they start cleaning up their defensive glass and start doing a better job on the defensive end. This has been all Virginia the last 3-4 minutes.
It's a great point. 16 minutes into the first half. Villanova has 4 rebounds, Jay.
Yeah, and that's a killer, especially on the road. This is not a great rebounding team. It's an excellent defensive team. But when you make people miss, you got to get the rebound.
Oh, too strong there. Ochefu getting his way underneath. He had a 24 rebound game against Seton Hall last year.
He needs to touch the ball more, I think, for Villanova. One, to collapse the Virginia defense, but he's a pretty good decision maker. He's a good passer, so he can pass out of the post. But that's one of the few times you'll see Virginia not double the post. They tried just to go one-on-one in the post, and Ochefu made him pay for it.
We're just getting ready to check back into the game now for Jay Wright. Shot clock down to 5. Brogdon with a stumble, no whistle there. And now a reach in and a foul on the play.
When a guy's on the floor, I thought going after the ball, that's ticky-tack there.
That's Booth who picks up the personal.
Now you touch a guy when he's dribbling, going to the basket, I get that. Like, they could have called a foul there, but that's not a good call.
Those with 3 on the shot clock.
Guy's down on the floor, the ball is loose. That's called incidental contact. That's a bad call.
So Brogdon at the line, sinks the first, 4-year starter, ACC preseason co-player of the year.
You're just looking at one of the great, not only great players, but great seniors in college basketball. A guy who's more than paid his dues. They call him Humble Moses, who's all ACC last year, played in the Pan Am Games over the summer, and played at the Nike Basketball Academy. He's one of the best players there. You never see him change expression, never complains. Just a stud.
How did that nickname escape you, by the way? Humble Moses.
Everything but the humble part.
Senior on the low block here, trying to wriggle free. Jump shot on the way from Jenkins. Ochefu beat everyone to that one with his size and strength. His heart from the corner, and he knocks in a 3.
Isn't it amazing that after an offensive rebound, that's the best time to shoot a 3, even though it wasn't directly after the offensive rebound, just the reversal? Because whenever a shot goes up, the offense, or the defense is thinking about going the other way and playing offense. So you're not thinking about continuing to play defense, and you can take advantage of that and get a step-in 3.
You get the idea. Josh Hart's a much better shooter than what he's shown so far this season.
I think Villanova is a way better shooting team than they've shown.
Gill will draw the foul with 2:28 to go. Again, that shot clock always a factor with Virginia. It was down to 7 by the time he got hit. And coming up at halftime, the Kay Jewelers halftime report. Doug and Tim coming your way. Some of the stories they'll talk about. How deep is the Big 12 and the antics of the Monmouth bench? If you have not seen them, the Hawk's Nest they call them. The choreography is unbelievable. Their sense of humor off the charts. They may never get into the game, but they're often stars of the show.
That Sistine Chapel thing they did the other day was phenomenal. Monmouth they are the most entertaining bench. And Tim Welsh had a pretty entertaining bench when he was at Iona. When Timmy was coaching there, he had a guy on that team named Mindaugas Tominskas. That was a career killer when you first started broadcasting.
2:22 to go here in the first half at John Paul Jones. 31-25 Virginia. Jenkins off the fake. Ochefu getting a lot of touches. Double team. And a whistle here. And he got tied up on the play. The possession arrow will take it the other way. So it will be Virginia ball.
Yeah, I'm not sure I saw this one. But the double team came right as he put the ball on the floor. And I don't see how that's a tie-up when the other one we saw before. That's just a bailout call.
Oh, you're right.
Like maybe they I don't know what they were thinking. That's just a bad call.
Let them play.
Well, there were 2 people with possession of it. You want to call a foul? I didn't see a foul there either. But
Brogdon fires a little bit too strong. The Wildcats crashing the glass one a few times here in the first half. It's been a big problem for Jay Wright's team.
Well, you got to get all 5 guys in blue shirts on the defensive glass for sure. It's one thing not to get offensive rebounds, but this team has got the defensive rebound. Good pass.
Slithering underneath Ochefu for 2 more.
Part of what made that play, Ochefu passing it out, but Jenkins gave a pass fake on a reversal. And that got the defense just to shift a little bit, and then he was able to drive back into the position from which the ball came. That was a really good pass fake by Chris Jenkins. You just don't see that, and I sound like Bob Knight now. The pass fake.
We've been missing that. On the move, Parentis, and he'll draw the foul.
This message brought to you by Bob Knight on the pass fake.
Well, back to the pass out moments ago.
Well, we had talked about getting the ball inside more because he's a good passer, and the double team comes. Watch this little pass fake. That got the defense to move just a little bit into that passing lane, and it opened up the drive in the direction from which the ball came, and that really opened things up for that layup. That was really well done by Jenkins.
Did you hear it a lot when you were playing for Coach K as well, the pass fake and the value of it?
I definitely heard pass when I caught it. He was always saying pass.
Parentis with another one on the way.
I was the fifth option when I was on the floor for Coach K. And the fourth option was, if you have a shot, call timeout.
Parentis, an outstanding foul shooter. About 88%. We have a timeout. Tight one here, as we expected. Two top 15 opponents clashing on ESPN. South Florida 8-4. Marlon Mack is their quarterback. He's thrown for 8 touchdown passes. And Brandon Dowie is the Western Kentucky quarterback. He averages about a first down with every pass. That should be fun to watch.
This is one of the great times of year, not just because college basketball has started again, my favorite sport on the planet, but with all these football bowl games, there's something great to watch all the time.
How about this defense by Virginia, followed away by Jenkins, will be well short.
And Jenkins had to be concerned with a 5-second call. There's no more 5-second call when you're dribbling, so there's no 5-second count while you got the ball dribbling on the deck. But before you put it down and after you pick it up, the defense can still get a 5-second closely guarded turnover on you.
Brogdon beyond the three. Parentis trying to penetrate, fired that one out of play. A wild pass, a rare turnover for him.
Well, you hardly ever see London Parentis turn the ball over like that. And I don't think Virginia ran what Tony Bennett was asking for. It looked like he wanted something called up, and he didn't get it.
So final seconds of the first half between number 12 Villanova, number 8 Virginia. Wildcats to hold for one more shot.
Well, Villanova just doesn't want to go too early.
Diacono with a nice feed. Ochippo, he knows how to finish, doesn't he? And the heave here by Parentis, high off the backboard. And that's how the first half comes to an end. 33-29, Virginia. They have the lead. 4 out of 10 for Villanova beyond 3, which is such a big part of their attack. The Kay Jewelers halftime report.
Teams, and this is a difficult place to play, but for Villanova to shoot 57%, they made 12 field goals. They have 9 assists on those. So I think the Wildcats really learned a lot from their loss to Oklahoma in the last couple games. I mean, their last game against LaSalle, they had 28 field goals, 24 assists on those 20. You don't see numbers like that. So they're sharing the ball better. They're moving it. And I thought they did a really nice job of isolating, getting into some pick and roll situations and isolating Virginia defenders and spread them out a little bit. The one difference in the game that I've seen, Dave, is I think that Virginia's been able to get to the free throw line more than Villanova. It's not like they shot a ton of free throws, but eight times to the free throw line for Virginia, only a couple times for Villanova, and that's been really the difference in the scoring.
And Virginia made all 8 of those. Villanova 1 for 3 at the line rebounding. Virginia had a 13-6 advantage. I'm sure that came up at halftime for Jay Wright inside his locker room.
You know, last year Jay Wright had some older players that had kind of man's bodies. You know, they're not quite as big as they were last year, even some of their guards. So they're going to have to toughen up on the glass against a very good rebounding team. But having guys knock perimeter shots down at this rate, what is that, 5 for 11 now that they've hit from three-point range? That's a great equalizer for Villanova.
And it was Jenkins leaning into his first 3 of the second half. So nice start. Brogdon stumbling into the lane, and he gives it away. Brunson on the attack now. Had to make an adjustment. What a tremendous job by Wilkins to get back. Jenkins leaning in and draws the foul in the act of shooting a 3.
Well, really smart play. Jenkins backed up, and a terrific block by Isaiah Wilkins here to knock this thing away. But Jenkins, see how he did a little Reggie Miller backup job. And he jumped right into Darius Thompson. Now, when a defender is running past you, and he's not going to make contact, and you jump into him, the referees have been instructed that you're not able to call that a foul on the defense. That's on the offense. But that wasn't that situation. Darius Thompson was coming into him. Now they got to check whether it was a 2 or a 3.
Yeah, that's why they're at the monitor right now to give it a look. Just seconds into the second half. Here's a closer look.
Just a smart play. See, Thompson was coming right at him. It wasn't like he was going past him. If he was going past him, the referees wouldn't have called it that way. But that's just a smart play by Jenkins, who's the top three-point shooter, not by percentage, but by volume. He's taken the most threes and made the most threes for Villanova this year.
And they did rule he was shooting a three-pointer, so he gets 3 shots here. And a good foul shooter, 81%. He buries the first one.
Dave, this is a good start for Villanova out of the second half. I mean, for them to get a score and then get a stop and get free throws. Virginia has been known all year long they're a second-half team. Now, Tony Bennett wants them to play better in the first half and not just rely on being a second-half team. But when you can get off to a good start, well, that makes you feel so much better on the road, and it just improves your mental health.
So one more for Jenkins, and he hit them all. And so it's 35-33. That didn't take long for Villanova to jump into the lead.
Boy, that was an important start. This is a good basketball team, Villanova. They've been a good team for quite some time, last 3 years. They have won a ton of games, 66 game wins in the last 2 years coming into this season.
You see if Brogdon really starts to get rocking and rolling here, the 6'5" senior from Atlanta. Shot clock down to 7. Gill back to the point guard. Parentis gives it up. 2 to shoot. In close, and he got it to go. Gill with the bucket.
You get down to 7 on the clock, and that seems like you should have a real sense of urgency and rush. You don't have to. That's plenty of time. And Virginia just proved that. They kept their poise and did a really nice job toward the end of the clock. And had a shot fake at the end, still got a shot on it.
Poise is in their DNA, isn't it?
Well, it sure is under Tony Bennett. He has built a great program that is here to stay.
Jeffrey banging inside. Doesn't mind the contact, but that one taken away.
Well, Anthony Gill is an excellent defender. Didn't come here as a great defender. Transferred in from South Carolina. Went to high school in Charlotte, North Carolina. Went to Charlotte Christian, who had a pretty good player there named Stephen Curry.
Yeah, he was okay.
Yeah, he went on to do some nice things.
Yeah, we've heard of him since.
Ooh, how good is he? It's like a video game.
Gill, 1 foot over the line. Here's Hall. Shot clock is down to 3. Wilkins fires. And a tough rebound. And it's going to be off of Villanova and out of play.
You know, Virginia only sends 2 guys to the offensive glass. They send 3 guys back. Tony Bennett believes he'd rather take away your transition opportunities than get a couple more second shots over the course of the game. But one of the offensive rebounders he sends is Anthony Gill, who's an excellent offensive rebounder. Because he's so active on the glass, that's what gave them that opportunity.
Brogdon hit as he flipped up a 2-point attempt. It was 17:47 to go in the second half. Talking with Tony Bennett before the game in his office, I asked him about this game on the schedule. He said, I thought it was a great idea in the spring to face Villanova right now, but I'm giving it some second thoughts. But I think they both head coaches love the game and what it means for March.
Yeah, I think that's the key. Is both these teams have lost in the last couple of years before they expected and before their season suggested that perhaps they should. You know, Villanova got beat last year by NC State. Michigan State took out the Cavaliers early in the tournament last year. But you want to beat your best in March, and whatever it takes to get prepared for it. I think both these coaches have the perspective that these games are more important to play than to have a cupcake win on your schedule at this point in the season.
Jenkins with a miss from 3. So Virginia up by 2. Parentis around the back. He's averaging 10 points and about 4 assists per game. Had a tough first half turning it over. And here's another one. And Hart will slam it down.
And that's another turnover by Virginia, where it's Tom Izzo of Michigan State calls those turnovers for touchdowns, where it's a live ball turnover and you've given up a layup. And you don't see Virginia do that very often. You know, if you throw the ball out of bounds, that's a turnover, but you get to play 5-on-5 defense. You throw it to the other team. Now they have an advantage situation that Virginia's great defense cannot guard against a turnover. You know, you're playing against a disadvantaged situation, and it's impossible for your defense to be effective.
And Parentis has turned it over 4 times. He averages less than 1 turnover per game coming into this one. Hall banging in close. The hook is short. Brunson collecting that rebound right on the line.
You know, too many of the Villanova guards are out on the perimeter. They need to get in a rebound.
Brunson trying to penetrate, held up by Parentis. He'll pick up the foul well before the basket.
Well, he got hooked too. Brunson hooked him with that right arm, and that's an offensive foul.
Bowl season upon us. We kick it off today. 3 games on ESPN. It begins today at 2 o'clock Eastern on ESPN, as well as streaming live on Watch ESPN. Parentis still shaking his head, upset over that last foul. He's picked up a couple.
Well, he might have fouled him first. The referees are supposed to call the first foul. Good play.
And a block, but a foul as well. Wilkins will be hit, trying to hold up Ochefu. Easier said than done.
That looked like a dribble handoff. Instead, Ochefu keeps it and gets right around Anthony Gill. And Isaiah Wilkins just came right into his body for the foul. But that was a terrific play by Daniel Ochefu. It gives a little wink there. You don't expect your center to refuse a handoff and take it the other way. That was really well done.
Foul shooting an issue, though. 8 for 16 coming into this game.
Ochefu is one of the hardest playing big guys in the country. An excellent defender, protects the rim.
An outstanding rebounder.
A terrific rebounder. One of the top 4 rebounders in the league. But look at the guys in the Big East that are ahead of him in rebounding. You know, Angel Delgado at Seton Hall, who's an excellent rebounder. Henry Ellenson at Marquette. And then James Farr is a terrific rebounder at Xavier. Everybody that wears a Xavier uniform is a terrific rebounder.
It seems that way.
It's unbelievable how those guys rebound.
That is a marvelous team and a very deep team. And I get the impression, Jay, a little bit of a chip on their shoulder that they were underrated by so many when the season started. I mean, now you can look at Xavier as a Final Four team.
I think they are a Final Four team. Now, obviously, you could say that about any team that's really good, that they've got a chance to get there. But I think Xavier's got the bones of a real winner. 2-3 zone now by Villanova. They can match up out of this, and then they can also go man out of it.
Mike Tobey getting in, back up to Brogdon. Shot clock down to 10.
Good defense by Arcidiacono.
Slick feed there, but Parentis cannot cash in, and that one's knocked out of play, and the Cavaliers will keep it with 16 minutes to go.
That's where the big bodies that Villanova may be lacking. They're a little bit thin up front. You know, Darrell Reynolds just got pushed under a little bit by Mike Tobey. And he wound up, he couldn't go after that with 2 hands because he was trying to hold Tobey off.
Gill was not anticipating that pass right off his chest, and Booth scoops it up, and here come the Wildcats.
You don't see Virginia toss the ball around like this, and you got to give credit to Villanova's defense. And I think that Virginia rated higher defensively than Villanova, but not by much. You're talking about 2 defenses that are ranked in the top 10 in the country.
11 turnovers already for Virginia. Hart's off the front of the iron. Rebound comes back to the Cats. Bridges outbattled everybody for it.
And that probably wasn't a shot by Josh Hart that Jay Wright wanted to see. A little bit of a force and a contested shot rather than an open one.
Senior trying to operate, fall away, knocks it down.
Boy, what a stud play by Ryan Arcidiacono. Arcidiacono is the type of guy that probably played quarterback in football. He was the catcher on the baseball team, point guard. What a leader.
Go out on a Sunday, shoot a 63.
Exactly. The guys you hate.
You hated those guys because they could do everything. Tobey back out for Hall. They'll swing it for Parentis.
Back to man-to-man.
Boy, a tough off-balance shot. Tobey fighting to his right. Banks it in.
And again, Villanova getting pushed under the basket. Tobey just went right into the back of Reynolds, pushed him right underneath.
And the crowd back to life in Charlottesville.
And this is where the tough teams on the road can answer.
Bridges off the fake.
Ball's got to move. It's being held too much.
Arcidiacono with a 3-pointer. Around and out. Big rebound and a foul over the back by Bridges.
Mike Tobey just pushes right underneath, able to get that offensive rebound. That's keeping Virginia right with Villanova.
the ball over for Tony Bennett at an alarming rate, you'd have to say.
Yeah, they've got 11 turnovers in the game, but it's the type of turnover that's been really interesting, and it's led to 19 points for Villanova off those 11 turnovers. They've been live ball where you can go the other way, get a layup. They've gotten got fouled out of one of them, got 3 free throws. Now 2-3 zone out of the timeout.
Gill with the catch here. He has 10 points to lead Virginia. Trying to spin inside. Pretty move there for 2.
Anytime you get the ball to Anthony Gill at the elbow or the free throw line, he looks to drive it. And he even did it against his own. And spin back. And he's having a great year.
He's really earned it, too. He typically gets to practice well in advance of everybody else. Takes an extra 100 shots. Tough catch by Ochefu. Now Bridges with a jumper, and he nails it from 3.
Boy, anytime Daniel Ochefu is setting a ball screen, he rolls hard to the basket. He's been wide open. And that was an excellent pass where he hit Bridges wide open in the corner for that 3. That's just good basketball. And you can see that a great lesson was learned by Villanova when they got kicked in Hawaii by Oklahoma.
Ball was wide open and missing on the 3 and a whistle underneath. Back to the passing you were talking about.
Yeah, the ball is moving more. You're seeing more shared. You see Mike Tobey getting beat there, just hedging out, and the help was a little bit slow by Anthony Gill, but that left somebody wide open in the corner, Bridges.
Phil Booth with the foul. Short, Tobey with a jumper, and a big battle here, and a tie-up on the play. And they're going to call a foul instead of the held ball here.
I don't get it.
A foul against Virginia.
Those 2 guys going after a rebound.
That's on Brogdon.
I don't get it. That's incidental contact right there, and a tie. That's more than anything a held ball. I don't know how you call a foul on either guy. That's a tough one.
That particular call has been, I think, oddly called today.
In this one, yeah. And these are 3 really good officials. Every other part of this game, they've done a magnificent job, but the held ball's been an issue.
Jenkins trying to attack, and he'll draw the foul before the basket. So no hoop there, and another foul against the Cavaliers on Gill.
Now the crowd doesn't like that because they think it's a little ticky-tack, but that was an excellent call because there was an arm bar on the ball handler. And you got to keep your hands off. That's a foul in the NBA, that's foul in high school, it's foul in college, foul everywhere.
Brunson to get it in. Mr. Basketball in Illinois is a high school senior. Mishandled by Hart, but he gets it back on the baseline now. Difficult drive. It won't fall in. And he really went after that rebound. The 3rd effort stripped from him. He's got to get out of there.
And what an athletic play by Josh Hart.
Jenkins on a fake. Airborne, no. Great save on the baseline. Here's Bridges. He can't connect. Well, they had every opportunity.
Well, they came away with nothing, but what an effort by Villanova. And especially Josh Hart.
Villanova by 2, but Virginia with the ball. Hall out high.
Villanova's making Virginia catch it further out on the floor than they want to.
Brogdon with a line drive triple. And the Cavaliers up 1.
Isn't that what it takes in this game? If you slip up just 1 second, and Josh Hart slipped, you give up a bucket.
Yeah, with really good teams, it's so often like that, isn't it?
What a game. 2 outstanding teams going toe-to-toe.
9 lead changes so far. Ochefu barreling inside, and it hung on the iron and would not drop.
Well, and you had 5 guys from Virginia on the defensive glass.
Tobey, no shot there from the 7-footer. Barrentos gives it up. Here's Hall on the wing. Barrentos, jumper on the way. He cashes in a 3. So now Virginia back to what was their halftime lead, 4 points. Jenkins catches, fires. Not there. Hall trying to push the tempo. Barrentos won't shoot it. To the lane instead for 2 and 1 as he got hit on the play. Momentum for the Cavaliers on an 8-0 run.
ESPN's exclusive.
That's a big play. You have to guard a lot of fade screens when you play against Virginia. They run an offense that they'll have a fade screen on one side, then baseline screens and rescreen action on the other.
It is really difficult to guard.
Brunson, that one tipped out of play by Virginia. And on this run, which is now 9-0 Virginia, Villanova has gone cold, Jay. They're 0 for 7.
Yeah, Villanova has the defense for Virginia's really ratcheted up, and you've seen Villanova take some more challenge shots. Chefu had that one terrific shot that he had wheeling across the lane, just missed it. But the rest of the shots that Villanova has taken, they've had a hand right in their face.
Toby with the foul with the body. His third.
Oftentimes when Daniel Chefu has set a ball screen, Villanova's gotten something good because he rolls so hard to the basket, he causes a rotation. See, they're trying to play through Chefu right now, isolate him in the post.
Wants that paint again, gave up the dribble, looking for help in the lane. The jumper by Booth, around and out. And Parentis got hit in the mouth, battling for that rebound, but the junior took it away.
Well, Villanova got a good shot, just didn't knock it down. But boy, you have to work so hard to get everything against each one of these teams. And Villanova switches a lot of screens. That means they can get some mismatches, and this is one of them with Brunson on Brogdon.
Brogdon powering his way in, draws the contact. He'll be at the line with 9:51 to go.
So all of a sudden, Brogdon, 6'5", and built like a linebacker with great skill, has got a 6-foot guard and a freshman at that, and Jalen Brunson on the left-hander. And he took advantage of it.
Jenkins with a reach-in foul. Brogdon with 11 and perfect at the line so far. He's 79%. Pursuing a master's degree right now here at Virginia at the renowned UVA School of Leadership and Public Policy. So he's outstanding in the classroom as well.
Well, there's nothing this guy can't do.
Well, this is the biggest lead of the day for the Cavaliers on this 11-0 run.
Well, Villanova's got to answer here. This is the time of the game where it can get away from you, or you can claw back. And we've seen this Villanova team fight and fight hard.
Archie Diacono with a three, but that won't drop. He is their best man at 41%. They're looking for a hot hand right now. This is a team that has suddenly gone cold here in Charlottesville.
Well, here's a mismatch. Clear out.
Brogdon, a little too tricky. Got it back, though. Wilkins. They find the open man. It's Hall from three. Yes. And trouble for Villanova. 55-43 Virginia. Jenkins looking inside. Nobody there.
Jenkins was open. It just got to him too late.
Jenkins off the fake and hit with 8:46 to go.
See, one thing that I think Villanova is doing in this game is they're catching and at times catching and holding the ball too long. When the ball moves, and this team is really, really hard to guard. But if you give a team like Virginia that's so good defensively a chance to recover by not being ready when you catch it, you got to be able to pass, drive, or shoot as soon as you catch it. I think Jalen Brunson in particular has held it a little bit too long when he's caught it.
Jenkins trying to end a 14-0 run and does. But Villanova 0 for their last 9, Jay, in the last 4 minutes and 34 seconds.
You know, and some of those were good shots that they just missed. Others were challenged, and you got to give the Virginia defense all the credit. And this is not an easy team to score upon. It's not easy to score against Villanova. I mean, Villanova is an outstanding defensive team. I think Virginia may just be a little bit better.
A 10-point lead for the Cavaliers on their home floor as we get the day rolling here on ESPN2. Great sports all day on ESPN and ESPN2 and our family of networks, both college basketball and football. Jumper on the way from the corner and knocked in by Thompson, who is really getting going early in this game. He was the go-to guy, and now they're looking for him again.
Well, against the zone, just dribble penetration. And that really freezes the defense. You're able to kick it opposite for a wide open shot.
Jenkins, a three. Yes. And that quiets the crowd for the moment.
That's that roll replace action. A little ball screen. The screener rolls to the basket. You got somebody on the baseline, usually Chris Jenkins, because he can really shoot it, replacing up top. And it's hard to guard that action going against the movement of the ball.
All with a pull-up shot. Banging in, Gill, right back up, and one. Or actually, was not fouled on the play. He does get the basket.
Well, you can only send... You can be happy sending two to the offensive glass when one of them's Anthony Gill. He's so good as an offensive rebounder, one of the best in the country.
Jenkins lets fly again and hits another one.
Well, we talked before the game, Dave, that Villanova is not shooting a great percentage from three, but they are good shooters. They just haven't shot it well, and I think a lot of it's been the shot selection.
Gill going up strong as they ran a great play for him, and he's going to go to the line when we come back. Virginia on top 60-51 over Villanova.
And he's had another outstanding game where he's scratched in every category. But those guys aren't the only ones out there. I mean, Yogi Ferrell of Indiana, Perry Ellis of Kansas. And who else? Michael Benajay at Syracuse. Fred VanVleet.
Yep.
Is an outstanding senior, along with Ron Baker at Wichita State.
Good to see VanVleet back and healthy again.
And that makes a huge difference for Wichita State. They suffered some losses to teams I don't think they would have lost to if they had been completely healthy.
You're right about Brogdon today. 13 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists.
He does everything. And he doesn't get the credit perhaps he deserves for being such a great player, because Virginia plays at a more deliberate pace than a lot of other teams, actually than over 300 other teams. They're one of the slowest paced teams, but just because they're deliberate doesn't mean they're not fun to watch. They're not really good. They don't play the right way. They do. But if you had more possessions, I think you'd see Malcolm Brogdon as over a 20-point per game scorer.
All with a reach-in foul. That'll put Booth at the line. Sophomore had one of his best games and had lost to Oklahoma. You mentioned at Pearl Harbor. 10 points, 4 rebounds. He had a 16-point game against East Tennessee State, so he can score 2.
I think Phil Booth is going to be a star player for Villanova. He's automatic from the free throw line, but he may be their most talented offensive player. I think that Jay Wright wants to see him become more of a killer out there and just take that killer instinct as an offensive player and be even more assertive.
So Brogdon to bring it up here for Virginia as they lead at 61-53 over Villanova.
What a luxury. We can put the ball in Brogdon's hands and Parentes can work off the ball.
There's a 2-point attempt. In transition now, the Wildcats. Back up top for Brunson. Trying to get past Parentes.
There's still a lot of time left. What a move.
To his left, and he banks in too. Man, did he stay with that one.
Boy, was that beautiful. That young man has got a lot of game. Played on for USA basketball this last summer, winning a gold medal for Sean Miller, and did a magnificent job.
Parentes. Quick dish here for Gill, off the fake, and knocks it down, and hit on the play with 6:11 to go, and he's becoming Mr. Go-To here.
Anthony Gill's he's been credited with 2 offensive rebounds, but he's been all over the offensive glass. He's kept balls alive, went after it. He's nice little shot fake there along the baseline after that pass, and he's just had a terrific career here at Virginia. And I think when he first got here after transferring from South Carolina, he left when Darren Horn was released. Now Darren Horn's an assistant to Shaka Smart at Texas. But he wasn't known as a defender, and he's turned himself into one of the better defenders in the country.
He's also scored their last 6 points, so Jeff will pick up his 3rd foul, so something to watch here with 6 minutes to go. He has it low. Jenkins off the foul and nearly made the shot. He'll be at the line to shoot 2, the junior from Upper Marlboro, Maryland.
Well, that's why Villanova would like to start playing through Daniel Achefu even more. That you can get cutters off of him. And he can score. He's not Elijah down there. Nobody's suggesting that, but he can score. But he's a very good passer. It's got a really good feel. And one of the best, as you mentioned, rebounders, rim protectors in the country. And he winds up he's such a smart defender and helps out so well that he winds up getting fouls because he's picking up assignments that his teammates have missed. And his teammates put him in a position to get fouls every once in a while. But boy, he's done a really good job throughout his time at Villanova. Keeps getting better and better.
He can block a shot, too. He had 5 against Stanford. Jenkins connecting at the line, 64-57.
Stopping a bucket for Villanova can put a little game pressure on Virginia. Otherwise, they're gonna use some clock and continue to grind it.
And a whistle before the shot by Parentis. A foul here against Villanova. And Bridges will pick up that personal foul, and that'll be his 3rd.
And every time there's a foul, there's going to be free throws.
And it'll be Parentis, one of the better foul shooters in the ACC at the line.
Parentis hardly makes any mistakes. This has been very unusual for him to come into a game and turn the ball over as often as he did, and the type of turnovers. But one of the, we talked about where he fits in among point guards. Think of all the outstanding point guards that I've seen. You'd have to put Parentis up among the best because of the way he runs a team, the fact that he's so efficient. You give him an open shot, he makes it.
A rare miss at the foul line there. One thing Tony Bennett said before the season was he thinks he has more to give offensively.
Yeah, I think he can score more. They want him to be more assertive, but he's got a pass-first mentality. And that's not always a bad thing. It's a good thing.
Ochefu rolling in. Nice follow on the play and a whistle as well. Count that basket.
Another incredibly athletic play by Josh Hart. He's really, and the times he's gone to the offensive glass, Ochefu making a move to his left and trying to score with the left hand. Guards usually aren't great at boxing out other guards, but he came all the way in from the top of the key, and that's a big-time play.
On Thompson. So Hart at 82% at the line. He had a 27-point game against Akron, 18 against LaSalle. He can score. Brogdon collects the miss, though. 65-59. And you sense in the crowd they're a little bit nervous, a little anxious and tense because a lot of the lead is gone all of a sudden, and Villanova's come charging back. They've done it on the glass, too.
But they're going to make Villanova guard if they don't have something right away.
And when tipped out of play, it'll be off of Villanova. Hart tried to sell that it was off Brogdon.
It looked like it might have been. I mean, that was a smart play by Josh Hart.
5:07 left and tightening up here in Charlottesville, Virginia.
Is and will be by the end of the season, but I don't think it's the type of season that we had last year where you had a team like Kentucky where you thought they could go undefeated. I wouldn't put any team this year in the top 5 or 6 of last year yet, but that means it's going to be more exciting. Going with the college football playoff, if we had a college football playoff and had to vote now, here's who I'd put in as the top 4. Michigan State, 80% of their baskets are assisted. Oklahoma behind Buddy Hield, they're great guards. I'd put number 2. Kansas, and then Purdue is an excellent basketball team.
Brogdon out of the timeout. Gill with a very acrobatic rebound there to keep it alive. Parentis made sure he didn't step out of play.
And that just kills you. You play 30 seconds of good defense, you force a miss, and all of a sudden Anthony Gill, who we praised for his offensive rebounding, gets another one.
All jitterbugging in close. Rebound tipped. Still a battle for it. Taken away by Ochefu. Tough to get it out of his hands.
Villanova can get a score here. The tenor of this game changes.
Jenkins was 20. Give him 3 more. He's on fire.
So now we've got a 1-possession game and a little more bounce on the part of Villanova as we head down the stretch. It looked like Virginia was getting to the point of thinking about salting this thing away, and boy, Villanova fought back.
They have really scrapped and battled all day, and for the most part from behind. Brogdon to the line. Parentis lines one up, and he hits the 3.
Right, Brogdon coming off that baseline curl. It can be either a straight cut out to the wing or a curl. And London Parentis moves right with him to stay in his vision. That was a big-time play and a big-time answer as Villanova got it within a possession.
Doug, thank you. 68-62, Virginia with the lead here against Villanova. Two teams ranked inside the top 12. Dave O'Brien alongside Jay Billis. And Villanova with the basketball.
Chris Jenkins has played a terrific game for Villanova. He's got 23 points. They are looking to get him the ball again. There's that roll replace action.
Hart to penetrate. Little stumble there. Tripped up and foul with 3:47 to go.
And he just got his body past Hall.
And that'll be 3 personal fouls on Hall, the sophomore out of Virginia Beach, Virginia. So Hart to the line. 82% for the junior.
Hart was the guy like Booth this year that was coming off the bench last year and provided a spark of energy. He's just a warrior out there. But this year he's expected to be the lead guy. He's number 1 on opponent scouting reports. And consistency at the highest level is the next goal for Hart. He's a terrific player and getting better and better.
They came in averaging 15.7 rebounds a game, and that's a guy who's 6'5".
Yeah, he's got a ton of ability, and it's ability at both ends of the floor. Very good defender as well as being an excellent offensive player. Now you got Bridges on Brogdon. So you got a freshman going against a 5th-year senior.
Brogdon out of the double team, shredded that. Kicks for Parentes, is a long one. Yeah! He hits the 3. What a big shot.
How do you double Brogdon? He just splits every double team with his strength. It's got to be his 7th assist.
Virginia's made 6 of their last 7 threes. A quick answer for Bridges as he dunks that one down in a timeout with 3:12 left. And back to the double team you spoke of.
Well, going against Bridges, who's long and thin. That was a little screen rescreen on the left-hand side, and he just splits that trap. All of a sudden, there are 5 defenders in the lane for Villanova, and spotting up in the corner was London Parentes, and Parentes, although he may have turned the ball over a few times, he's had another excellent game in every other facet.
Look at the reset here. Villanova with 2 timeouts remaining. Virginia will have the ball when we come back. London Parentes does not take a ton of threes. Coming into today, just 26th of the year, but he had made 54%.
Yeah, he hasn't taken a ton, but he seems like he makes them all. For a guy to be shooting, he shoots just under 90% from the free throw line, shoots over 50% from the field, and you mentioned the over 50% from three-point range. That's the picture of efficiency right there, London Parentes.
And he's had a big second half with 11 points, 3 for 4 from 3. Under 3 minutes now.
Now you got Josh Hart on Brogdon, and Bridges is on Parentes.
Parentes to penetrate, gives it off. Gill jumping into the lane and lays it in.
Oh, what a beautiful move. Oftentimes when you see a guy double clutch or jackknife, they call that an up and under move. That was an up and under move by Anthony Gill. And I don't know where Virginia would be without Gill today. He's been outstanding.
Got 20 points. He's made 8 of 9 shots. A lot of them right in there. Hart to his left and traveling with it.
Hart refused the ball screen, turned it down, didn't use it, and went baseline. And Virginia's rotation defensively was exemplary. That'll go on a clinic video for how to move as the ball moves and get outside the lane to stop a drive.
Thompson high up on the wing, approaching the 2-minute mark here at John Paul Jones Arena.
With a 7-point lead, you wonder, is there enough time for Villanova, because Virginia is going to use all of the clock.
Brogdon fires a 3. Yes! All net. Wow. That's a big boy shot.
There's not much you can do about that.
Virginia does not shoot a ton of threes. Villanova does. But the ones that Virginia has shot, they've made. What are they? 8 of 12 or 8 of 13? I mean, they have shot the ball so well. Malcolm Brogdon losing control of it, then gathering it back and shooting over the freshman Bridges. Bridges had his hands down, just couldn't get it
up to bother Brogdon, that fifth-year senior who's had another great game. What a player he is.
All net for him. Monday, the most wonderful time of the year continues with the Miami Beach Bowl as Western Kentucky will take on South Florida. That's at 2:30 Eastern on ESPN, as well as streaming live on Watch ESPN.
Aren't you happy that football has finally seen the error of its ways and gone with a tournament that has a committee?
Yes.
You're not a real sport until you have a committee.
40 bowl games for you.
Yes.
40.
And now you've got teams that have losing records in bowl games. So now they have their own CBI.
The senior with a fall-away shot. He'll hit that. A basket they desperately needed.
Well, now Villanova has got to go full court and get a turnover because Virginia will continue to use clock and grind it.
Brogdon bouncing for Thompson. Under 90 seconds now.
You have to think about fouling here. There's not enough time.
Parentis. That's the man that they certainly want at the line. Thompson, oh, what a tough spin move, but he'll draw the foul on the baseline and be shooting with 1:17 to go.
Virginia used the clock very effectively and then attacked pressure at the point it was applied. So when a double team came at Parentis, he attacked it, got through it, and was able to get something good on the back end of it.
Thompson, the sophomore from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Virginia getting a guy here who transferred from Tennessee and sat out last year. Very good passer and can score a bit and hit threes.
He's so athletic, and he can also handle the ball as a point guard. So you put him into the game, you got yet another ball handler out there on the floor. And Thompson, he's had double-figure game after double-figure game of late. I think that's 4 in a row now for him.
Arcidiacono trying to penetrate. Gave up the dribble. Nice bounce feed. And Chefu's been there all day, hasn't he, in that lane?
Well, he rolls so hard, and you're so worried about Chris Jenkins when he replaces up top because he got a three there that oftentimes you can get an easy score.
That one's stripped, and it's off of Virginia.
Hart did a nice job of getting his right hand in there. And Mike Roberts, the official that was on the baseline, said it went off of Virginia when he knocked it away.
It's the first Virginia turnover in 11 minutes.
Now they can look at that. That's under the time last 2 minutes where they can look and see if that call was actually correct.
And they're going to do exactly that. That is our best angle. So under official review, 77-70. Jamie Lucky, Brian Kersey, and Mike Roberts are crew today.
Now that's the best angle we had. That's not necessarily the best angle the officials will get because they use something called DV Sport that gives them. It used to be they got all their replays out of the TV truck that we used, but that's not the case anymore. And they confirmed it. Not enough video evidence to overturn it.
So it stands as Villanova ball with 58.8 seconds to go. And the Cavaliers by 7.
Well, Virginia's got to guard the three-point line here. Those are the things that can beat you.
Chefu, and he knows exactly what to do with it when he's that close.
Yeah, you certainly don't want to give a layup, but you definitely don't want to give up a three.
77-72. Villanova looking for another turnover and a whistle and a foul. And so it'll be Parentis at the line at 87.5%. Tonight, after the R+L Carriers New Orleans Bowl, stick around for SportsCenter at night. All the highlights from the bowl games, Jets and Cowboys, the NBA, NHL, and college basketball. SportsCenter at night, kicking off right after tonight's bowl game on ESPN.
Not only a lot of bowl games, what a great day for basketball. There's so many good games on.
Always my favorite time of the year when college basketball really started cooking like this. You didn't have to leave the couch.
Exactly. I don't leave the couch anyway. Doesn't matter what's on.
79-72, 55 seconds to go. And an official timeout here.
The clock was running and nobody touched the ball yet, so they have to reset it. When you theoretically you could inbound the ball when you roll it, and put it in there. As long as nobody picks it up, we could stay here all day. The clock, the count ends when the passer releases it, but the clock doesn't start until somebody inbounds touches it, which is, I've always thought, it's kind of silly. I kind of like the idea of, I've never been a big fan of letting the ball roll up the court. Just pick the darn thing up and go. It's quicker to do it that way.
And the clock is having a little bit of difficulty inside John Paul Jones Arena, we're being told.
This is one of the best on-campus arenas of the newer ones that I've ever seen. This place is great. It's so nice of them to name it after an outstanding bass guitarist of Led Zeppelin.
Now they've set it back to 55 seconds. Arcidiacono to check it in here for Villanova. They need a little magic here with less than a minute.
Three-point line is where Virginia has got to remain attentive, especially Chris Jenkins.
Brunson's three. He nails it.
And there it is. You knock down to three, and the game becomes a little bit different. Now it's a 4-point game.
45 points, 45.8 to go on the clock.
And yet another double team comes at Brogdon. He'd be a heck of a football player. I mean, how do you close up a hole on the line against him? Look at the way he's built. And there's been no double team that's come at him from Villanova that he's not been able to split with his strength.
So it'll be Brogdon to the line, a 79% foul shooter. He has not missed today. He is 8 for 8. And he continues to be perfect there.
Last year when Harvard came to town to play Virginia, Tommy Amaker, the head coach of Harvard, had been asked a question that Malcolm Brogdon considered going to Harvard, and his grandmother wanted him to go there. And Amaker wound up saying, I wish he'd listened to his grandmother. I think he made the right decision, though. I think he did. He's had a number retired type of career here. I don't know if that'll happen for him, but they should consider it.
It should. Brunson to his right. Blocked from behind by Wilkins. He's had a couple of big stops today and a foul to stop the clock. He's really played well in his first start. That's going to be 5 fouls on Ochepu, and he is done.
Nice job by Wilkins not to foul and make Brunson finish that play. Brunson's smaller. He just bothered it. And, that's what we were talking about a little bit earlier in the game, Dave. Like, as long as you play good defense, you're going to have guys that are going to get past you. You got really quick guys out here. And if you make the mistake of making every play like the Alamo and you foul, you put them on the free throw line, and that gets your team in a lot of trouble. If you make them finish a play, sometimes you have to give the other team a chance to miss.
Rolled in by Wilkins. 6'7" sophomore, the stepson of the NBA great Dominique Wilkins, who played against Tony Bennett for a few years in the NBA.
I don't think Tony was guarding him, though.
It's rather tough to do for anybody.
Well, Tony could win. I think Tony Bennett could still win horse games against his team. That's how good of a shooter he was.
Brogdon knocked down, and he'll draw the foul. The crowd did not like it. With 24.9 to go, 82-75. And coming up next, Indiana and Notre Dame, always a fun game.
You think there'll be some points scored in that one? Two great point guards, Yogi Ferrell of Indiana and Demetrius Jackson of Notre Dame.
Brogdon sinks the first. How about this? Villanova's won their last 36 games when they score at least 70 points. But they're in giant trouble today. Gill high up for the rebound and tied up with 17.8 to go. He's fouled. And the crowd begins to sense it and celebrate here in Charlottesville. That foul will go against Hart.
This crowd has an excellent team that they can celebrate. And Virginia, both these teams, Virginia and Villanova, I think have a legitimate chance this year. Because we don't have dominant teams at the top, I think both these teams, if they get healthy to the NCAA tournament, they should feel like the Final Four is a very realistic chance. and that they can, if they get there, they can win it. Because I don't think there's anybody I've seen that these two teams cannot beat.
Gill spins that one in. He's had a huge day today.
When you play like Anthony Gill has played this year, you can wear your hair any way you like. I dig his due. But I'll tell you what, it looks even better when he puts up the kind of numbers he's consistently been putting up.
Can you tell the jealousy I've got because
just a
he's
little bit.
Got so much hair? I'm jealous of you too, by the way.
Bridges knocked out high. Jumper on the way, won't fall for Booth. Final seconds here, and that'll do it. A fine win for Virginia, knocking off an outstanding Villanova team today by a final score of 86-75. It was an entertaining game, and Anthony Gill turned up big for the Cavaliers, Jay.
Well, Malcolm Brogdon, London Parentes, Anthony Gill all had terrific games. This is an excellent Virginia team, and to be able to beat Villanova on this floor, that was a terrific accomplishment for the Cavaliers.
Virginia now 9-1, and Villanova drops to 8-2. Very entertaining today here in Charlotte.